This is not just a federal problem, but it's really a state's problem. And California is just a harbinger, I think, of what other states are facing and will face. Our message here, I think, is kind of simple today, that long-term services and supports are part of a thoughtful payment reform discussion. And what we really appreciate in Mark's leadership and Brookings' leadership is to help begin that discussion. Somehow payment reform gets kind of ratcheted down pretty quickly to, well, what about the acute care event and just a little bit around that, or maybe that and a little bit of post-acute stuff, and you're good. That's true to an extent, and that's an important discussion, but it's not the entire discussion. And frankly, the best way to get somebody out of a hospital and keep them out of a hospital successfully is a strategy that will help them remain at home, whatever that home is. And it could be a group setting. It's not necessarily a house or an apartment, but whatever their home setting is, successfully. That is the best way to not then reabsorb another round of acute care costs for a failed transition. The single most difficult time for a patient, the single greatest risk, is when you have a transition of care. So I'm a general internist by training and practiced for a bunch of years before getting into this life. And it's always clear when you're in practice, it's not getting into the hospital that's hard. It's not the move from the emergency room to the hospital bed. That one's the easy step. But it's the step from an ICU to a floor bed. And the single most challenging step is from a floor bed back into the community. And what are the system of supports that make that successful? I think one of our challenges today then is to think beyond just the medical tools that are part of that transition, but also the social tools that are part of that transition, because a thoughtful investment there can actually lead to a meaningful transition.